Well, hello. Today we're going to be visiting with Dee Dee for a while. And Dee Dee's one of our Optimal EFT course members. And she's getting started in all of this. And she has some issues that I think would be useful for many people listening in. This is although to her it doesn't seem very common, I see it as a very common issue with things that will unfold for you as we go along. We're going to be getting a good start here. This is not the kind of thing that we handle all in one session because, as you will see, there's lots of pieces to it and everything else. But she has graciously allowed us to record this, and so with big gratitude, let me bring her on. Hello, Dee Dee.
Hi, Gary.
Say hello. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. Okay. Okay, so you and I talked about some things. This was a while back, and also recently before we did this recording. And you were talking about the main issues being, well, you can't move forward. You've got a lot of fears, like fear of dying and fear of cancer, and sleep is something that's hard to come by, and all of that. I mentioned that, did I not? Or did we not talk about that?
Yes, we did. We talked about all that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you also said, but I didn't get a list from you. You told me that you had a number of physical issues. Can you list some of those for me?
Well, insomnia is probably the worst.
Okay.
And I had panic attacks years ago. Those have really gone away, but I still have the heart palpitations. So when I wake up, they're better now, but typically over the last year, I was afraid to go to bed at night because I wake up, and as soon as my eyes open, I have this heart palpitation. So that would be, those two are the worst. But I have a clogged tear duct that had surgery. Now I have it over here. And then I have blockage in the nose, deviated septum. So everything seems to be pretty localized in my face. And then the anxiety. And it just kind of snowballs because if it's not one thing, it jumps to another physical problem. There's so many more. I have so many more, but those are few.
Well, okay, but we may want to get into more as we go on, but for the moment, the heart palpitations, they only exist when you wake up in the morning. Are they there now, for example?
A little bit right now. It's very random. When it happened, it was mostly used to be just when I woke up in the middle of the night, usually 2 or 3 in the morning.
Sure.
Not when I wake up at 8 or 9, but if I wake up in the middle of the night. And it kind of felt like an attack. It kind of feels very dark.
Yeah.
And, now I'll get them randomly, sometimes even during the day. Like I actually had them this morning while I was in church, which always surprises me to have it in church where I usually feel the most peaceful.
Well, this morning in church, sorry to interrupt you for a second, but were they, like you said before, like this up to like a 10 or were they like a 5 or?
I would say probably a 5 or 6.
Okay.
And then what happens is my mind goes a little, starts to do overtime. And then I'm already planning on how to get out. So then my mind's already going, okay, if it gets really bad, which door are you going to run to?
Yeah.
Because I know I have to get out.
Okay. Well, right now, I would think, I'm guessing, okay, I would think you would have some heart palpitations because you would have some nervousness talking to me and all these issues and other people are listening in and so on. But you say there's a little bit, but not much?
Yeah, it's there. It's a nervousness to be talking to you about it. So let me feel it. It's a little bit, but it's not a panic feeling of running type of thing. It's just
Okay.
more probably just because we're doing this, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not the same feeling. It's not the same
Okay.
feeling as what.
Number wise, it's a 1 or 2. Are you saying that?
Probably a two or three, maybe two. Probably 2 or 3. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Making a
just
little note
there.
here.
There's something
Yeah.
there. It's not bad, but there's something there.
All right. And the clogging in your nasal area, on a scale of 0 to 10, how clogged is it right now?
Well, I don't notice it too much during the day, but when I go to sleep, I was waking up. The last 6 months, This is a new thing. I would wake up, and I almost like a choking, kind of like like that, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what's that? And that was happening. So went to the doctor. They think I possibly have sleep apnea, but they thought that's kind of weird because you don't fit the profile of that.
Yeah.
The profile of that. But I think it's the blockage in my nose because my nasal passages are narrowing.
Well, do you breathe easily and freely now, or is it obstructed in some fashion at the moment?
It's not obstructed. It just, I never seem to be able to get enough air in. Like for me to do deep breathing, I have to be really relaxed. I realized the last year or so that I've probably held my breath most of my life. I know that sounds probably pretty strange, but I've held my breath and I didn't even know it. Like, oh gosh, I'm not breathing. Now I'm into a lot more that I realize that and I pay attention to it. But
okay, well, that's an important to me. That's an important comment. If you felt like you've been holding your breath most of your life, there's an emotional cause for that. Okay, we may not know exactly what it is yet, but there's a cause for that. You're doing something. You're trying to ward off something. You're trying to whatever. I don't know what it is yet. Okay, but that's a sign of some kind of emotional unrest showing up in your breathing. Does that seem accurate to you?
it does. Yep.
Okay. All right. So you were also telling me earlier before we recorded that during your childhood, it wasn't physically or sexually abusive like some may have, but there was a lot of, what was the term you used? You were ignored a lot. Did I say it right?
Yeah, there were 6 kids, and I have no memory of mothering at all.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 kids, but we didn't really. There was no giving your opinion, or you were kind of just lost in the crowd. You know.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I have one memory of my mom, and I was older. I was in high school. I mean, I don't. She just kind of was non-existent.
Okay. Something like, although you didn't use the term, but something like you're invisible. Would that be a good term?
Yeah, probably more dismissive, maybe.
Okay.
We were kind of left on our own because my dad was gone, you know, so we were kind of left on our own.
All right. Now, let me tell you where I'm inclined to go, but I don't want to go there unless you think we're opening the right door. Okay.
Okay.
So let me just ramble on for a moment or two, and tell you where I think we would go, and then you